Swami, I have a vocabulary question.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready for a question yet?
Sure.
Jiva Atma.
Yes.
Sometimes I hear those terms used as if they were synonymous. And yet I think I remember asking Atma Rupananda a few years ago. He said, no, they're not synonymous. Atma is Brahman, so Atman is not the same as Jiva. Jiva is more associated with individuals.
Correct. Well, when you unite Jivatman means Jiva. Jiva means the soul within you. You as Richard.
And is that the thing that transmigrates from birth to birth?
Jivatman, when it's still attached, identified with this body-mind complex, with our samskaras, so-called desires, yes.
So it's more individualized as opposed to the Atman, which is...
Kind of, but you are still Atman. You cannot detach from your Atman, because you are that, you see? So it's a very subtle, although the language, can give you these misconceptions or wrong ideas, but you are always there. You're always that. You will never go anywhere. You will always be here. And that's what we need to acknowledge, that we need to accept. That's our practice.
What's the significance of teaching like Vedanta over some other teaching, like Christianity or Buddhism?
Well, philosophically there is a difference. All traditions have their own philosophy and sets of practices. Vedanta is very specific and very particular about its own philosophy based on oneness. There cannot be two, there is only one. The one without the second. That is essential. Now when it comes to practices, Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, non-dualism, as I said, is flexible. It can integrate many practices from many traditions. In Buddhism, the other day the Swami was talking about Shunya and Purna. Vedanta sticks to Purna. You see, in reality it's the same. But here comes a very interesting point over which the whole philosophy differs. Because Buddhists, they don't believe in the Atman. Whereas in Vedanta, we believe in the consciousness, in a witness. It's got to be someone witnessing everything. And that someone is you. We focus more on that aspect of us, which is called ananda, bliss. We don't pay too much attention to that misery or sukha. We empathize, we make common ground on that bliss that we are all looking for, that we all are. All different schools of philosophy, they have their own practices, and as I said, in Vedanta there is only one practice, and I was trying to call your attention because we usually say that, as Swamiji put it, each soul is essentially divine. It is divine. Each soul is divinity. And our goal in our life, our fundamental goal in life is to be free, to be able to manifest, to be able to express. Haven't you found yourself saying, I want to express myself, I don't know what I want, but I just want to be free. In whatever I do at home, I just stay away. I don't know what I want, but I want to be free. That freedom is so natural in us that it can even express itself in our day-to-day life. So somebody says, we can only do that by getting hold of ourselves, getting the reins of the horses, there is a beautiful illustration in the Bhagavad Gita and also as well as in the Katha Upanishad, where it says that the self is like the king sitting in a chariot. And he's observing and witnessing everything, and he's being driven by the charioteer, which is the intellect. The charioteer is the intellect, your understanding. So the charioteer needs to get hold of the reins, which is the mind. And the mind, the horses. And the horses will be directed through the paths. The sense experience are the different paths available to the soul. So we need to control ourselves, our internal and external nature. We somehow succeeded in controlling external nature somehow. We are here in a cozy place. We have science, technology, the iPad, right? What about ourselves? So in order to control ourselves, to make contact with ourselves, to come back to ourselves, there are certain means or spiritual practices, tools, as it were, called the yogas, sadhanas. So in the Gita, and Swami Vivekananda, this great teacher of what we call the Neo-Vedanta, the modern Vedanta, defines 4 yogas. But my point was, hey, although these 4 yogas can be practiced by all of us in harmony, right? If we can, some of us are more devotional, some of us are more active, we can't sit quietly, we need to do something. Because by doing something right and well, we get satisfaction. And this happens to all of us. When you cook well, you feel some kind of satisfaction. And so those who enjoy. So we are active by nature. We have that philosopher within us. We can all develop our own philosophy if we want. If we believe that we are philosophers, you all have a lifestyle based on some values, right? But what Vedanta proposes is, hey, base your values on these spiritual principles, which are the source of all morality and equality. Then only you will be able to succeed. So we have that which is called Jnana Yoga, the yoga of knowledge. And then we have the yoga of meditation and the yoga of worship, bhakti yoga. So my point was, what is the common ground among these? Because sometimes we are like, oh no, I'm a jnani. No, sometimes we find devotees or people say, no, that is too devotional for me. That's okay, I understand. But you also need to bear in mind that that's a means and requires your attention. So that it should be respected, right? I mean, it's as valid as any attention you put your mind upon. So attention and mind are these 2 in 1 that we need to tackle. Without that, it's really hard. So as you can see and understand, we need to commit. It's not enough to say, Swami, yes, we are free, that's wonderful. And then you do nothing. You need to experience that freedom in your daily life.
Swami, think about it, giving us some angle to Buddhism versus Vedanta. I have asked this question many times, I'm repeating again, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
And that is, what is the fundamental difference between Hindu philosophy and Vedantic philosophy?
Well, that we believe in Atman. We believe in the Hindu. Oh, Hindu. Hindu and Vedanta.
Yes. Swami. Isn't it a chicken and egg story?
Well. Okay, let me just explain. This is very simple. Vedanta means the end of the Vedas. Vedanta means the Upanishads. Vedanta means the ancient Hindu scriptures, which are supposed to be without beginning and without end. These are also called not being made by humans. These are revelation. Apaurusheya, those who know Sanskrit. Apaurusheya, not made by humans. These are revelations revealed to seers. They saw the mantras on their mind screen. It's fantastic, really. So every single spiritual movement, every single spiritual tradition in India that accepts the Vedas can be called Hinduism.
Swamiji, last week when Atma Priyananda was here, he was talking about the difference between spirituality and religion. And Vedanta is spirituality, Hinduism is religion, just like Christianity.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't.
That's
yes.
the understanding I had last week.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't kind of like narrow it. I mean, of course, I will tell you why Maharaj said that. I will explain. But I'm broad. I mean, my philosophy, my way of thinking is I like spirituality. Religion is according to Swami Dhyanayogananda, he nicely put it. Religion is composed by rituals, by a philosophy, and by mysticism. So naturally, when it comes to that, is that religion means it's a set of spiritual practices. Okay, but it has to be based on a philosophy. Without that, those pillars, cannot exist. So it is Hinduism. It is a religion because it is a set of spiritual practices, but fundamentally, it is a spirituality because it is based on the teachings and of the Vedas, of the Upanishads, coming from the Upanishads. You see it? Is it complicated?
Religion is a practice of the spiritual in method.
Yes. Yes.
Method of
Religion is a spirituality in practice. Because if you want to practice a spirituality, as I said, you have to commit to do something about it. That commitment, you can simply practice what Patanjali says in his Yoga Sutras, or what Shankaracharya says about Jnana Yoga, or the Yoga of Knowledge. Or you can simply, if you're a Christian, you can simply go to church and be good and do good, not commit any sin. So we need somehow someone. We like to be treated like kids, you see. Vedanta, I usually don't like to use the word religion when it comes to Vedanta. You see, I believe it's much goes beyond the word religion. You see, Vedanta helped me to understand the religion I was born, which was the religion of Jesus. But Vedanta is universal. Yes.
The way how I look at the Hinduism is that is built on the Vedantic principles, which suits to that culture, that community.
Absolutely.
During that time.
Yes.
That's what it is. Hinduism religion.
Yeah. Well, but there are so.
But the inside principles are all from Vedanta. That's the way how I look.
So these principles coming from the Upanishads, have been interpreted by different acharyas or teachers from different schools, and each one, there is always a leader of a particular school, and they came to give the interpretation. I mean, if you are here is the Madhava, the dualist, with the given interpretation of Atman and God as different, separate. See, and here comes Ramanuja saying, well, we are just part of God. And Shankaracharya says, guess what? You are. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question regarding Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga and the other four yogas that you talked about, the Karma, Bhakti, Jnana, and
Raja.
So I think for Ashtanga Yoga, ultimate goal, it starts with Yam Yam and then goes to Samadhi, which is self-realization, so sort of detached. How would you compare them with the goals of the other four yogas?
Oh, it's one and the same. It's one and the same. It's one and the same. The only thing is, in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, you need a lot of might, self-effort. It is advised, though, that you should get hold of God in the beginning, Nyama. But again, there is a lot of effort. So there's a lot of tapas. Tapas, austerity. You need to watch out your diet. You need to your company, everything. So you become an obsessed person. So that is for yogis, we call yogis those who live in the Himalayas, and and they can fully embrace these practices. Now, however, if you generalize a little bit and and see it from a distance, it all comes down with where your attention is. And not just that, if you are able to focus, to concentrate on a particular object of concentration, you will reach that. You will get hold of your mind, inevitably. Now, you can do that by the practice of devotion as well. Why? Anyone?
Practice of devotion.
Devotion, because you give your life to your God. You dedicate everything you do, you think, to your God, and you find satisfaction. You forget yourself. You do your best. And by doing that, you are constantly reminded of the highest idea. And that highest is liberation. That highest is what it is. It is freedom. That's your nature. So being able to make contact with that through these instruments or tools called the yogas, it's the goal. In the yoga of knowledge, we use this discrimination, viveka and vairagya. Vairagya means dispassion. No, but at the same time, this is neti or iti. Eventually, you will get there as well. All you need is to focus, to come back, to acknowledge, to be aware, to be mindful. That's why I love this mindfulness practice. Not to jump into Buddhism or anything, but I think it's absolutely valid. I mean, mindfulness, to be mindful, awareness of where you are, is essentially the only one practice we need. I hope, some Orthodox may disagree with me. Sorry about that. But, if we understand who we are and what our goal is and what do we have to do, it doesn't matter. You see, Vedanta is very clear. We are that, we are divinity, and somehow we need to express that in our life. You see?
Sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Oh.
Are you
I was
satisfied?
just going to ask you if the practice of these principles is called religion. Is there a way to practice these principles without being religious or being tied to religion?
Absolutely. Embracing these principles is all you need. How you apply it in your life, you can customize this the way you want.
You make your own religion. Yeah.
I mean, hey, let's go beyond yama and yama. Let's just say you have to be good and have, lead a life based on values. You see? Otherwise, what's the point? Absolutely. I enjoy going to church on the 24th. I'm a Vedantic one. No, this is these Vedic principles have to be embraced by everyone. In fact, when you do that, you can fully understand your religion and happily practice your religion. It's not painful, you know. Oh, I have to go to church on Sunday. You go to church because you love it, because it makes you feel good. You see. I'm just giving you an example. I don't know. You can. I mean, Hindus go to so many temples, and it's also beautiful. You know, you walk on the streets and you see Hanuman here, Shiva there, and it's all God. You know, get on the bus and you see Durga there. I mean, it's all God, God, God. And this is what Vedanta did. These ancient rishis did to. I mean, those who were born in India. Wonderful spiritual heritage. Amazing. I bow down again 1,000,000 times to that spiritual heritage, because it allows you to understand that goal that we all need, that freedom, right? So it's yeah, well, I'm a little not fanatic, but I get a little, yes. No, go.
If we kind of, we've been drilling down in detail, so if we go up into more of a generalization, could you do a more of a commentary to, at first blush of listening to the paradox of we're free, but yet we have all these crazy monkey thoughts attacking us all the time, and then all these desires. Well, if I'm free, I should be following through my desires. I'm free to. It appears to be a paradox from first blush. So would you just...
Yes, but you know.
Well, I still want to hear it. I still want to hear it. It helps. Someone else talk.
You know what I just said in the beginning about this illustration of being the one seated in the carriage, you know, and being driven by the intelligence or your intellect and your mind. But sure, you know, the fact of nature. The fact of nature, meaning in Vedanta, two things are important. Know who you are and understand where you are. So you need to understand where you are. You are in this world based and made of duality by the forces, the powers of nature. Now, essentially, nature is composed by three forces: Rajas, Sattva, and Tamas. And this is all over the phenomenal world, including our bodies, our mind. Here and now it's happening. Some of you feel sleepy. Some of you are very alert and attentive. That is Sattva. I didn't bring it up in the talk because there was no time. But this is also very important, that we are slaves of nature. We don't want that. We don't want to believe that we are slaves. But our daily experience tells us that, you know, when you have stomachache, it just says either pray or take a Tylenol or whatever medicine to help remove that. So, although we are free, yet we experience otherwise. So, if you understand that, there is only one way that we should get hold of the sattvic. You all remember, most of you, I don't know if you remember the story of the thieves or the robbers. Sattva is a robber. You know the story? There are three robbers who actually break into a house and kidnap a man, steal everything, and then they take him away from home, and then they go like, what do we do with him? Well, there is one says, just kill him. And the other one, well, no, wait, do we need to kill him? Maybe we can rope him against the tree, or tie him up. And then after a while, when these two went away, there was the last robber said, okay, let me just free you. He released this person and said, hey, there, you have to walk that way. You will reach home. And then the man was so happy. See, oh, thank you so much for doing this to me. He said, come home, let me just feed you. You know, in India, they feed, it's an honor to feed someone. So I said, no, I can't go with you. I'm a robber. Police will catch me. So these symbolize these three gunas. One is tamas, the one who said, just kill him, which is, it's everything that is sloth, it expresses itself, in the mind as whatever is stagnation and low, which is in all of us. And then the other one is rajas, the one who said, okay, no, don't kill him. Why don't you just tie him up against the tree? That is rajas, which is that active aspect of us, that activity, and somehow we all feel like doing things and fulfilling these desires, that we don't have. That is rajas. That's why she says, well, if I feel like that, why don't you just, I could indulge. Well, if you indulge, you have to pay the consequences. Which is all good, it's up to you, it's your choice. But then again, don't complain. And then we have sattva. Sattva is that peaceful inner voice that tells you, hey, just commit, that understands what is good for you and tries to help you, but it still is a robber. We have to go beyond. Sri Ramakrishna also says, when you get pricked by a thorn, you need another one to help remove it. And then what do you do, both of them? Nothing, you simply throw them out. So that state where you just simply emerge and you don't need anything, you are fulfilled, is called that freedom. The salt doll wanted to measure the depth of the ocean. She simply jumped into the ocean and never came back. So, in other words, if we understand this, how nature affects us, it's okay. Nobody's going to judge you. Not even yourself should judge you. But you will have to pay the consequences of whatever you do and say, and think. So, making that commitment to lead a spiritual life, to be attentive and alert and mindful about the highest. In mindfulness, you see, you have to be alert of everything that is happening, that noise, how I'm feeling, I'm having a cup of coffee here. That is mindfulness. But through that mindfulness, you will reach that, what is needed, that focus, that concentration, that one pointed center needed. So that one point thing, it has to have a meaning, and that meaning should be the highest. And that should be God. For that, we harmonize everything. And this is my made-up kind of sharing with you how I feel about this. Let's pick the red pill. You all seen The Matrix? We just want a pill. You take the pill and just figure it all out. And so, mindful worship. God is everywhere.
Swami, one of the things when you were speaking in the other call, and you were mentioning the two different words, and you've spoken on the differences between, I guess, the dualism of our worship, whether it be to like God, like they see as kind of like when you spoke of the two words, and you said one is the object, and the other is kind of the operating God who is everywhere. And the thought that came to me was, because you spoke of symbols, the thought that came to me was, okay, the symbol of the cross, that is like the Christ, that was his role. And then there's the symbol of, I'm thinking that the symbol of Vedanta is it the Om? The Om, which the Om represents
the absolute,
the divine perfect sound of everything and the harmony.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess I don't know if the Om goes along with the Vedanta. I mean, not the Vedanta, the Hinduism, but when they're talking about the differences between the Hinduism and the Vedanta, what is it? Just kind of like, I don't know, just.
Well, Om is borrowed by all these sects mostly. Yeah. It's just that when you say Om is Sat Chit Ananda.
Okay, so other
and then you plus Namarupa, Sat Chit Ananda Namarupa. So Om Christ, Om Vishnu, Om Durga. So you can customize, but always with Om. That mantra is always has to have that Om.
Because the cross is just the beginning for Christianity, because the depths of the same path is in the words of the Bible, so you could reach it through that. Like the one thing I had learned was, okay, there's God that was Christ for that, but it was the bridge to God. So God is the absolute. So it was just to pray the blood over, and then you're speaking directly to Christ. And for me, I guess I realized that kind of that God was everywhere. It was my own little path, where I went to the Swami's, not Swami, it was a shaman for that weekend. Yeah. So I don't know. So I guess the two word symbol thing, and how we can get past the fact of just the singular God.
Well, I'm not saying. I don't think I'm sure if I get you right. I mean, when it comes to past the idea of.
Maybe she's talking name and form.
Like the name and form, the words that you were using, and
yes,
how,
the name and form is
they
they represent something. They mean something to you. When you see the cross, I mean, you automatically be reminded of Jesus, and who is Jesus to you?
Yeah.
What does Jesus represent to you?
Oh, I know what it means to you.
Yes. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, that should be the highest idea of God to you. I mean,
no,
it's
not because I believe the Trinity. So to me, it's.
I'm not judging him. Yeah. Whatever you. So,
but
if you are worshiping something, when we encourage, I mean, what we try to encourage is get hold of that symbol that reminds you the highest, because you become what you meditate upon, and you want to become the highest.
Yes.
So in our freedom, when we're choosing in our highest good, whatever I'm choosing and someone else is imposing their energy, their free will, their whatever, on me, and I'm saying no, then it's still my freedom. And that could be in my highest good, even though it's not in their highest good. Is that what you're saying pretty much? Even spiritual versus your life, anything?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Whatever you consider the highest, however, it is advised that that highest should be based on the principles of God.
Right.
We can worship our cat, and we call it cat, kitty, kitty. I mean, you will become a kitty. Or when you worship a stone, you see, you don't worship the stone God. No, the stone should not be God. The meaning that you give to the stone is God. So in that regard, I mean, you should be flexible enough to understand that you worship your choice and somebody else worship his or her choice.
Right.
But the common ground is that which is the same, the one without the second. There is where religions are, they lose all their power, because
right.
It's like they get disarmed, as it were.
Right. Well, I even with spiritual practices too, when they try to impose their will too much, we're like, you need to do this, and I'm like, I can't. I have a kid. That just doesn't work in my life. I would love to. It would be fun, but I can't do that. So, and they have a hard understanding of that.
Okay, turn your life into worship. Turn your life into that. You need to do this. you need to do what you have to do, which is looking after your kids.
Right.
And that your kids are your gods. Your kids are your symbols to be reminded of. That's what you need that moment.
Okay.
Some people...
So every day is like a choice.
Every day is an opportunity to be with God. Every day is an opportunity to meditate. Because attention means meditation, walking meditation, working meditation, sitting meditation.
Right, because we even have those impositions with our family, right? Trying to impose in our lives. And
You got to do what you got to do. I mean,
they have to say no.
whatever feels right. We all know what feels right. We all know when we try to escape, or get away from something that, in fact, that shouldn't have happened. However, if such is your longing for something higher, sometimes it's worth it.
Question of a different nature. What is the Vedanta's concept on sin, the original sin, and man's evil nature, is juxtaposed to the Christian God?
You ready?
Oh, sorry?
It is a sin. The only sin that Vedanta accepts is to believe you are a sinner.
So Vedanta doesn't believe man is born sinful and commanded to be well.
No, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because what Vedanta says is, it's a manifestation of different degrees of the same power. Good and bad are exactly the same. The manifestation is there are different colors or degrees of the same. So in that regard, there is no sin but mistakes. We make mistakes. When you say a sin, you are going against yourself. You don't want to go against yourself. You want to help yourself. So do what is right, what is beneficial, not just to you, but to everyone here. That is where the 10 Mandaments are based on upon.
So I have another question. Okay, so I have a lot of Christian friends. They love talking about the devil. And so you have to, I swear. And so do you have to believe there's a devil for there to be a devil?
Too many.
And I'm like, the devil can be the mind. So I don't know what they're talking about.
The mind could be the mind is your heaven or your hell. Clearly, the instrument that you see that you have to get hold of.
They just blame something that I feel doesn't exist.
Yes, I'm very tactful here because I don't want to offend anyone. But naturally, we were all introduced to a religion where we were born and without much thinking, to be frank with you.
Yeah.
Without much explanation. Just believe because you have to believe. And that's a dogma, that's a mystery. We don't talk about it, period. But no, Vedanta says it's a step beyond. It has to make sense to you. Vedanta is very clear here. You have to understand. Without that, how could you commit?
Well, you always hear that the devil is the father of lies, which is those things that God is truth, father of lies, and then we have our Maya. So the Maya, that's sin. So basically, once we realize that all those things that are illusions, and we get to the truth, so the unveiling of the truth in our life, then we are what we speak of the Atman. And so it's just the different representations, I think, that what the different religions use and how to speak in the terminology.
Look, it's just like a plain cloth, piece of cloth. That Atman is, you see, if you want to taint it or dye it with darker colors, you are free to do it. However, your nature is beyond colors.
What about this idea that we all kind of come here forgetting that, And I think, right, it's not like you come and oh, I'm perfect. Yeah. I'm perfect.
Well, we all come here to get that. We all come here because we are thirsty. We long, we crave to be free. We crave to understand more and more. We crave to digest more and more and be able to apply this in our life. That's why we keep coming, because we listen to these things again and again. I've been repeating this to myself and studying the same things again and again. And trust me, every time I review something or read again the same book for the 10th time, I get a new light. I get also, oh my God, how could I miss this? This is, and you see, I'm a Swami. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. It can happen to all of us. So
what's the explanation of why we don't experience that we're free?
Because you don't want to.
That's not true. I want to experience that.
Well, if you long for that, you will. Eventually, you are. You
So
see, why
are we all kind of in the same situation, wanting to experience
because,
that?
as I said before, we live in nature. We live in nature. I mean, we are bound by this. However, when you are bound, I mean, and still you live in this kind of. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna cry the rest of your life? Like, I am bound, or I'm free. I'm free to live what I have to live. I'm here for a reason, for a purpose. I'm here because God wants me to experience and learn. At the same time, enjoy my life. Not to, I want to experience freedom. Freedom, but you are free with consciously enjoying your life. Be able to, you see, life is for you, not you for life. You're already free to accept that. When you go beyond the body, then you'll be somewhere else. You will probably not be bound by the limits of this nature body. And maybe you will experience some other dimension, some other world, some other fantastic things that are waiting for us.
Swami, may I add something to this?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the definition of worship was when we attain that freedom. And for example, for me, my work is worship. And when I really achieve the goal where I am operating what I wanted to, I feel free. So I have many instances of my life where I have reached the worship stage and I have enjoyed the freedom.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yes, I mean, when you connect with yourself, haven't you found yourself being just, I'm just fine, I'm happy, and you just smile without needing or craving for anything higher. You're just satisfied. I mean, it can happen just for a few minutes, maybe.
Well, I'm just saying we haven't experienced that. We're not free. So, like, say you're in the worshipful, doing your work and you find that freedom. Like, why does it go away? Like, what is that?
Well, in reality, it never goes away.
That's why Christianity is trying to everyone's trying to answer that question.
Yeah, but
why do we experience?
Yeah, but in reality, it never goes away. If you are truly, rooted there, convinced, at least intuitively, knowing that you are not going anywhere, you are always here and now, you know that freedom is yours. That it doesn't matter how the world is being painted. You will be with yourself. That's all you have. Where else would you go? You are here. The only thing needed is to be with yourself, to come back to yourself. There you will find that. Why do I feel? No, you don't feel any bondage anymore.
I'm not specific. We're on the same page. I'm just saying
I understand. You're trying to paraphrase. I
mean, we all experience it. I'm just trying to see.
No, we all experience that because we cannot accept the fact that we are in nature. Hey, we live in human bodies. So much so that we identify ourselves with Swami so-and-so, you, and everyone here. You see?
I had a thought when we were speaking about, the purpose that we have in our life and having periods where, you're asking for God to prepare you for whatever your purpose is. and having that discipline, and then going astray and having lost that discipline. And then being here and wondering, again, like, okay, God, what do I start asking again to prepare me for that discipline? And because I don't know what it is.
Well,
I don't know what it is that my purpose, I mean, I know those truths that Vedanta speaks of. But it's like I'm where I'm at, what is my purpose at this point? Because I don't have because of what had distracted me, had taken me to the point of
taking you out of it.
Take me to the point of my focus being on that which was not healthy for me, and that which brought me down, that which took me to the levels that we spoke of before. So here, when you were talking, it's okay, God, what I don't have my purpose. I know what the teachings are and what it takes in the discipline of those things that you're talking about, aligning the mind and things like that. But it's just
you have a purpose. You understand the purpose.
No, I don't really.
I know what you lack, and what you lack is that religion part.
Huh?
What you are lacking, probably, I'm just entering, is that religion part. To get hold of something, some kind of a spiritual practice that is yours.
See, I guess
that you identify with, we
use different terms. We use different terms because I don't use the term religion. It's more of the practice that I need to take on within myself, that I realize that I know that would reconnect me to the path of just being in a place where I'm okay and not even concerned what my purpose is, because I know that whatever it is, that God will prepare me for that. But being at the place where you're kind of in that gap. And just that, but feeling that had kind of crossed me it's like, okay, like.
What are you waiting for? Just be with yourself. Get hold of that prayer again. Talk to yourself.
The routines.
The
alignment.
See, we all need some spirit, some discipline. I don't know. As Swami, we have a routine, and for us, discipline is our happiness, because that is what keeps us, on the same page again and again. We don't see. So the same goes for you. It's not that I'm a Swami or a nun. We all need that. We all need that discipline. We talked about it. That's a whole different subject. But discipline is happiness.
Yes. The discipline is what you were speaking of in here. Everything and everything.
Yeah, everything. I mean, we all need some. I'm coming. We all need some kind of practice. You see, where you
get back,
get back to that, to your symbol, to your essence, to the principle. Mm-hmm. You get up early morning and you say, "Hello, my God, it's a wonderful day," and you salute your God. You see, you merge with Him, you commune with your God, and you start your day. You can do that in the form of prayer, you can do that in the form of chanting, you can do that in the form of meditation. But you have to do it. You see, early morning or whenever you get up, take a shower, make yourself comfortable, clean a corner there nicely, and just sit and remember your God and enjoy. And then, but that's not all. I always say spiritual practice is like taking a shower every day. When you take a shower, you got to be careful. You don't go, and play with the swine. You see, because you will get dirty again. So you have to be watchful, mindful, again. So with your spiritual practice, you commune, you make connections with your God, and then you try to be reminded mindfully that your God is with you 24/7, all the time, every second, every breathing and every breathe out should be with you. And then you that one.
Yeah, I've always had the thing where it was like, when I made my vow when I was in this thing, I think I told you about that. It's like, I don't even see how I get to that point from here. Where it's like doing the missionary work or doing that type of thing in my life. I don't see how it would jump from here to that.
I probably, this is kind of, we can talk maybe probably later. It's kind of getting a little personal, but I think we all understand this, right? That we somehow need to embrace some kind of a spiritual practice or discipline, so that we are reminded, and then we stretch that. We take that with us throughout the day till we close our eyes again. And that then we will get the real rest. You see?
I can add some for the purpose of it. This is the way how I look at it. First, when I had the same questions, what's my purpose? The way I look at it, first I identify myself. I identify myself as a why. Okay. So now as a why, what's my responsibilities? Okay. And then I follow whatever I can. Right? I can't do like 100% right duties, but still I can make myself the same thing. I can identify like a daughter. So what I can do to my parents.
Correct.
So that's my purpose. So that's the way how I relate my purpose.
Yeah.
So that's part of my thinking. Yes.
That's
passionate about.
Yeah. Well, that's how you apply that in your life. You need to understand where you're at. And turn that again as a worship, into a worship. You are a mother, you have kids. Well, okay.
I know. Well, I
don't
let that limit
I always
me,
say,
but I try to work with what I have to do.
That's your yoga there.
Yeah, I have to take care of him, but what else I can do? I always challenge myself. When he's sleeping, I'm studying.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I had a question. So you were talking about a thief. Now I'm talking about like in real life in the law. So when you have like, say, a thief who steals from you, is it that we have different belief systems, that they maybe didn't grow up knowing that that's wrong, or maybe they do know it's wrong, but I was thinking about that.
Well, clearly.
Right? So
I mean, a friend of mine, I just got a phone call yesterday in the evening that a friend of mine, in Texas got shot. I mean, he's alive, he's okay, but it took me some, I just can't believe that.
Yeah.
How can someone, indulge in such an awful act? But just, I don't care. To not have value for life, you see, for a human being particularly, because, we all do some kind of compromise, with chicken or with fish or with vegetables that are also alive. So, but again, human life is so yeah. Clearly, some of us are luckier than others, I guess, to be able, to have that fortune to come across these values, and that's great. Yeah.
What he said about why, then we know this is freedom, I'm happy here, why do I go back and be sad again? It's, for me, I'm struggling in my life right now to find different things, and at some point I am very happy, as she said, when I do something that I really like, I'm very happy, but at the same time, when I'm happy, I don't honor to myself. I find other things. I'm here. I want to be there.
Yeah.
Why am I not doing everything at the same time? And then I pull myself so down, and I'm depressed and sad. And
because you can't fulfill it.
Exactly.
Well, that's the root cause of suffering. That desire.
It takes so long for coming here, you, or going to therapy, or somebody tells me,
well,
okay, you need to come out of this, and I say, oh yeah, she's right, I should
just
come out of it.
Do one thing and do it right, do it well.
Exactly, I never enjoy it 100%.
I know.
It's there.
I like the way you put it, because it's so clear to all of us. I think we all experience that.
Yeah.
So, yes, well, that's human nature, that's the mind. The mind has, unfortunately, carries all these habits, and we keep coming back to all habits. So the idea is to identify these and do something about it. How do you do it? How do you do that? Well, by counteracting your old habit with a new habit that will help you.
So I have to find that trigger that brings me back. You know, every time I feel I'm going down, spiraling down, I should just find something.
I always remember, and you know, once I was never, you know, I wasn't always a Swami. I was once upon a time I was on there, sitting there, you see, and I just, for me, I mean, I don't mean to say anything because we, you know, devotees and friends, or, but for me, what was important is to be in touch. To be in touch, you see, I was living my regular life, but to come in touch with this, with the ashram or the monastery, and it was just something that I needed. Yeah, I needed as you see, because when you listen, that is called satsanga. You see, when you come in touch or in contact, you are reminded that it's all good, everything is okay. I mean, this can happen here, or at church, or anywhere, or at any temple. You see, but and anything that can help you. Again, try to find sources of inspiration. Why does that happen? Because you're unable to focus. So the number one thing that you need to identify, this is happening to me. Get hold of your attention. Focus your attention on a particular something. Do something. I don't know, you like arts or painting, just focus, enjoy that, merge into that. Be there with your art. And then if you have to, you know, you have to walk the dog, I mean, it's okay, be with the dog then.
So I'm going for a walk, but my mind is about my resume, this, that, I should try this, I should try that. No. I'm not there.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm there, everything is awesome. Everything is
I know. There is manage your emotions, master yourself. That there is a talk I gave on that. All right. You had a question? You got answer?
Because I loved this lecture today, and I love Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And, I think yama and niyama are basic for achieving concentration and attention of
Absolutely.
the mind. And this kind of problems, like really being distracted, starting just with yama and niyama, would strip away a lot of problems from our lives.
Absolutely.
Just practicing non-violence alone is amazing. It's transforming.
Mm-hmm.
So I practiced some of those, and they were incredible.
Incredible.
And,
helpful to you.
I noticed that I could not meditate or concentrate my mind when I didn't practice yamas niyamas. Means the principles or precedes of every religion, actually.
Moral values.
Non-violence, non-killing, no stealing, just very simple things, and even talking, what we say.
The words you use.
For the peaceful mind, and then our lives become full of light, and we know what to do next.
Yes.
Like we know where to go. So
You remain in peace.
I would really encourage. I love Patanjali Sutras. I love.
Yes, moral values are essential. You see, if you're going to say the truth, but say it with the right words, nice words. Don't try not to hurt someone.
Right. I have a question. Okay, so should you not reflect on things that cause you pain? Because, like, I was just saying to my husband yesterday, I was like, you know, I really wish childbirth would have been a better experience, because I thought it was, not that nice. So, anyways, and I wish I would have handled it better, but I didn't know what to expect either. So, you know, I don't know how I could look at that differently.
Yeah.
To me, that was real pain. You know, I'm sure there's other things too, like divorce. Huh?
Next time you will do better, because you recognize now, right?
Yeah, that was shocker.
I don't know. When you focus on pain, don't you think the pain increases? When you focus on the pain increases.
What?
Because that's what I found when I was in labor. I was in labor for over 36 hours.
Unfortunately, I can't.
Well, but when you focus on
for not obvious reasons, I can imagine
to
that.
Look at it differently, but I haven't come to a conclusion yet. How can I look at it better?
In the lecture, he actually said, in the absence of attention, no sensation is possible.
As a child, what was that?
In the absence of attention, no sensation is possible. So like,
yeah,
I don't know. I thought
that's absolutely right. I mean, some people, some swamis, for example, they don't need anesthesia.
Yeah.
I mean, one of our swamis, I mean, it's known that he had to undergo a surgery and no anesthesia, they just withdraw their mind. And how I done it, no, I know, but...
Isn't there someone else that said they wanted to do that, and the moment they started cutting, like, no,
it's challenging, but it can, it is possible.
But this is where you put your attention.
Absolutely,
When you put attention on the self,
this
you
is,
don't
yeah.
feel the body, so that's why he was able to do that.
This is related, with this sanyama, this joining this attention and the degree of your attention when it comes to dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, where once you get there, you can do pretty much anything. You can draw your mind, and you are in control. So, yes.
On the subject of pain, regarding your friend, my condolences. I was in an accident 4 years ago where I was in Cincinnati and shot my right arm, and I went through a lot of therapy for a few years because I had to reconstruct my tendons. And one of the things that I did is my grandfather is Buddhist. Getting people out in China was causing a lot of it. So he bestowed upon me like some really basic meditation techniques. I'm a violinist, and so I needed my arm. And so the best way to get through the physical therapy was through meditation and breathing works. It's like because otherwise it's so hard. But and I don't know very much about it, but I do know that like the breathing helps release dopamine, and it helps with the pain, and it takes your mind and it focuses on something different. Because I found that where I focus, the whole point of focus is to narrow down your point of attention. And so when I take away that attention from the pain to something different, it was easier for me to re-strengthen it. And so
excellent.
Like I don't know very much about meditation, but the basics of health pain.
Yes, well, that's what you experience is kind of essential. Yes.
Association of it. So
that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, that is something. Yeah, really. Thank you. Yeah, well, sometimes we don't. I mean, just now, it's our friend here. She was telling me, well, your lecture was a very technical lecture, and I was kind of disappointed because I really don't want whatever I say to be technical. I really like to, all of. No, she was just. She was complimenting. She said. But what I mean to say is these things, it comes to our experience. It all comes down to our experience. We have all the knowledge already within us. You see, we might not have read, a book or anything about meditation, but we know deep within ourselves what happens when you focus, when you take your attention away from pain. Our mind is so powerful. Especially when we are aware of that power, and it's and our attention. So we can do anything really. It's just we are not used to. We are like kids, we like to hang out, in the world and get distracted, jumping from one desire to another, and that's how life goes on. And bye. So unfortunately. Yeah. But if you analyze all these ancient spiritual traditions, they all emphasize the need of concentration. Everywhere. All these, even the taekwondo, karate, this kung fu. You can walk on waters, you can walk on fire, you can fly. And even saints have achieved that by devotion. That was my point. By devotion. There are Christian, Catholic saints that they would just, go so much within themselves that they would start levitating. while giving the sermon. And so, yeah, it's amazing things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.